Haze.
Good evening once more, everybody. If you were following the stream last night, you will know there was a lot of killing. Many people died. Over 3,000. Actually, I'm in a little bit of trouble with my boss. We are only meant to kill around 3,000, and according to the bookkeepers, we killed 3,693. So some souls may have to be returned. I don't like returning souls. They should stay. It's nice and warm here. But yes. Hello to everybody in the chat. We have Aussie Guy, one of the regulars. You were here last night. The Ogre, aka my boss, or the bookkeeper, or I don't know, the person who keeps tally of everything I do. Must be important. There's a cow. There's an Evie. There's a Mitchell. It's good to see you, Evie. Mitchell, Cow, Ogre, Aussie Guy. We have a Peter Fours, finally in time for the start of the stream, and a Smedis, who did hear about the 3,000 people who died yesterday. Well, these things happen. I should have made the transparency dithering. I am dithering. Also, I don't have a shader for that. And Thomas with the grim greetings too. So we have the usual crowd in. Excellent. You all survived yesterday. Unlike the poor 3,000. The first game tonight will be Exidy's classic Chiller. And before we play, I should change the view to the horizontal one. And I should full screen it. Haze is not wearing eyeshadow. Haze just has filters on that make shadows more shadowy. Right. Let's see if this works. This gruesome game. That's a nice scream. Might have to turn that down a little bit. So, we go to the torture chamber. I didn't do makeup, no. I have not done any makeup. Just the darkness is slightly exaggerated right now. We can press start to begin in the torture chamber, where we shoot things. Now, I did not play this one yesterday because I think these people, despite the screams, may already be dead. Oh, she lost her head. Now, if you are familiar with the band Health, there's a music video where they featured this game. This was also on the NES. Yes, that is your job, Evie, to do my makeup. You are not around. Exidy did like their gun games, and I guess they wanted a proper Halloween one. Now we go to the rec room. Where we kill. Well, we don't kill because they're already dead. But we shoot all these people who have been... Well, this one's not dead. Look, she's moving. Oh, he's moving. Apparently, their skin cannot be penetrated with my bullets either. That is impressive. Well, this one at least takes the bullet. But yes, it's not quite so satisfying when somebody has already tied them up. Oh dear. We can lower her a little bit down into the lava crocodile. You know, the only thing that's missing here is a little frog trying to cross the river of lava. As I shot the crank. But yes, there should have been a frog. It would make more sense why the frog could not jump in the water if the water was lava. Are you sure that's not lava? I thought it was lava. Are you saying it's something else? Are you saying it's more of the other red stuff? I'm going with lava to keep the stream family friendly. People bleed lava, do you not know? Oh look, we can shoot this too. And there is a daddy in there. We can drop the torch. We can drop this one too. What about the foot? Oh yes, there we go. And a little heart that did not give me any more life. Oh look, there's a head down there too. Who's dropping heads down here? What are you doing up there? In the room above? It's my job to be doing this kind of thing. The other red stuff. Ketchup. I thought you meant hot sauce. Hot sauce. Hot sauce is good. You will not be consuming the hot sauce on stream though. I did just spend another £40 on hot sauce. This is an awkward entry name system. I wish to continue play. So, how is everybody doing? The only thing that goes on a good burger are pickles. Lots and lots of pickles. Oh look, I found a secret passage. There are lots of secrets hidden in this place. I don't know what you do with this thing. Can you actually get it out of here? I don't know. I see, I appear to be wasting my time. I must kill more monsters. Not enough. I failed again. Exidy ported this to the NES/Famicom and themselves, and it was published by American Game Cartridges. I cannot believe that Nintendo would have approved this if it was not self-published. The Konami M1 hardware is quite rare, Game Glitcher. I failed at killing. Maybe it's because I'm a little nervous after I got told off for killing too much last night. It's never nice to be told you've done your job too well, and that you should have not killed as many. You cannot shoot too quickly here. I should be more accurate. Concentrate on the things that I can shoot. 3, 2, 1. Good shooting. Yes, I figured it might be unlicensed Aussie guy. Now we go to the graveyard. I don't know what you're doing there. This stream may not be very family friendly. Yes, Nintendo did not like gore, did they? Even much later than this. There was a game called Mortal Kombat, where nobody had any blood. They were like puppets. Although there was another game with puppets, which we may feature later, which may be known as Chinese Exorcist. Oh, we're back on the first stage again. I think we've seen all Chiller has to offer, so we can move on from Chiller to a game on the Commodore 64. Yes, once again, the Commodore 64. Now, this was released by the author as a quick load file, which means it's already loaded, and I just type run. But the author was Lazycow. I don't know if Lazycow is related to our cow, but this is Wolfling, or Wolfling. I may need to readjust the screen position slightly. Please wait while I do that. Hide some bits at the top. There we go. That's better. So yes, this is another recent game. I think this is from about 2 or 3 years ago. It was only released as a quick load file, so it is not in the software lists, and I do not know how or if they should be added. I think they should be, but who knows. You start as a princess and then change into a wolf. And you can jump around, but not this way. If I go this way, and roll through the door, I can attack as they attack these things. Apparently, if I hold the button, I change back, and I can jump up. But that's a bad idea. I have never played this before, other than finding it earlier and seeing it was by Lazycow, and it is slightly horror themed, and it's on the C64, which is a system we don't cover very often. I also read it was rather tough, so we will have to see how far we get. Don't like that thing. I don't know what it is. It gives me the creeps. Down here. Somewhere to go, I don't know. I also don't know what all the keys are, which may be a problem later. like you. It's smooth. It scrolls very smoothly, though, doesn't it? Scrolling is good here. Oh, I like the look of this. Well, don't like the look at that thing. Now, maybe there is a status bar at the top that is broken. I don't know. This was also released for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Somebody does like Symphony of the Night, yes. Can I not go down here? Apparently not. That is not a route we can take. I think we have to transform back then by holding the button? Yes. But yes, it would be nice if things like this were in the software list. Oh dear. I think she got killed by octopusy thing. And that means I'm back to the start. So let's go back. Now, has anybody in the chat played this before? There is no save system. You always go back to the start. I'm pretty sure we are missing probably a status bar at the top. Maybe it's not meant to run on an NTSC machine, or maybe it's just the emulation we have is not quite good enough. Maybe I scored the status bar off. Oh yes, I did. Ha! That was silly. So there is a status bar. I really should have been paying more attention. So I can't roll as a human. Wolfling. This is called Wolfling for the C64, and it was developed by Lazycow. It can be found online on Lazykow's site. If the moonlight is there, why don't I go this way? Oh, I can't make it up there as a wolf. You can't jump as high. Yes, I don't play many C64 games. My experience with them in MAME is generally not great, so I'm always pleasantly surprised when one performs well, as this one appears to do. Oh, I think this might be important. This will restore my health, yes. Where does this take us? More platforming. It's a bit of a maze, isn't it? Ooh. Oh, I fell down. Go down here. Oh, got some hearts. Got another one of those gem things I failed to get earlier. And some rocks that are surprisingly harmless. Ow, that hurt. Ow, that hurt as well. I don't appreciate that. Oh, outside is moonlight is when you turn into the wolf. So this seems to have quite a large map. I'm running out of health again. You have to time your attacks. Oh, we've got a little bit of health there. But this is a very large map. Oh. Oh, I can kill them like that too. That is handy. The graphics are a little blocky, but it's fast and smooth. Oh, I died again, and that is game over. It looks like the raster position is slightly off, because the top of the status bar is chopped off regardless. That might be a PAL NTSC thing. Let's give it another go. This seems like a very large game map. But yes, these rays appear to be indicating moonlight, which is kind of a nice touch. So you can see where you transform into the wolf by walking into them. So I can just do this actually with these enemies. That makes it easier. Oh, spikes. Though. Avoid spikes. But at any time you can change back, and if you're inside, that is good. Although you can't change back into a wolf until you go outside again. Ow! It's a good job there's no fall damage. Apparently spikes don't hurt human form. Interesting. I'll have to try jumping on some spikes and see if it hurts. Then I'll know if I'm human. Yes, it's got some great tunes. The SID chip does produce some wonderful music in the right hands. I don't know how MAME SID emulation holds up. I've heard it's not perfect, but it sounds nice here. Yes, it is a good idea to always avoid spikes. Tempest will tell you that. Listen to Tempest. So we can't roll in midair. We're not Sonic the Hedgehog. But we can roll if we are on the ground, so we can do that. Oh. Well, we jumped down there the first time. Uh-oh. Can I get back up? I don't think I can. Oh, well, back down here it is. It's this way. Creepy. I think this is back to the start area, yes. Alright. Maybe we've seen enough of this game. I quite like it though. I think I will come back to that one another time. It seems like a good game, so yes. If you want a spooky, fairly recent game on the C64, then Wolfling by Lazycow seems like a good choice. I do like the spikes. I appear to be drawn to them. I'm not sure why. Now, yes, maybe there is a ranged attack later. I don't know. That is all I have played of the game. But it is not a bad game at all. It's quite a fun game. Now I'm going to go with a game which may not be your traditional Halloween game, but it certainly looks the part. This is Truxton 2 by Toaplan. Look at that. The skull and crossbones. The skull there. I love the imagery in this one. Mr. Outer Heaven says Robert Yanes, who designed the SID chip, also co-founded Ensonic. Ensonic sound systems are used in many Taito arcade games. Yes, this may not look like a traditional spooky Halloween game, but it has all the skulls you could ever want. You see? The more I die, the more you see skulls. Maybe I should die more often. Maybe I should blame every death on that. Just say, I wanted to show you the skulls again. But I also quite like listening to the music, which isn't spooky, but it's very good. Sounds more like a driving game soundtrack, I think. Yeah, you had a skull. There you go, more skulls. What did I say? You owned the Ensoniq ESQ1 synth. Did you enjoy it? The Ensoniq sounds in arcade games are typically excellent. They really make a difference. Look at that skull bomb. This had an FM Towns port. Maybe I should have played that one. I do like to look at the alternate systems. And I feel I'm letting my viewers down now by playing the arcade version. But maybe we can have the FM Towns one another time. Or as a bonus game later. But thank you for that, Aussie guy. The FM Towns is a very capable machine. I should die again soon. And you can see more skulls. I should promise you that. And maybe you want to see more gameplay too. I don't know. I wonder if it's one of those with a tate mode where you can rotate the screen and turn your television on its side and accidentally burn down your house and be added to the count from yesterday. Because I'm sure that's what happens when you turn your television on its side. Or so the warning screens would have you believe. Oh dear. Where do we go back to? Go back to the asteroid field. Now, we won't play this one for too long. It's maybe not quite Halloween-y enough. Except for the bomb. The bomb is very, very impressive. It's an excellent game, though. Maybe I should cheat and add a second player. This is why maybe one day I need to do a two-player stream. I have never seen the original cabinet of this one, sadly. In fact, I don't think this game gets played as often as many other shoot-em-ups, and I am surprised. It's excellent. That landing bay looks a bit like a gravestone. Exactly how it should be. Yes, both Truxton games are very good. Well, yes, the music is very good, but it is maybe not the most fitting. shortly, but the destruction is satisfying, as are the colour choices. Purple, look at the purple. Purple is my favourite. Well, we need more skulls, not craters. There we go, more skulls. Another skull on you. Toaplan make excellent shooters. We have a game over now, which means it's time to move on. Oh, look at that, that's nice and creepy. The music was composed by Masahiro Yuji. He even did the previous Truxton game, and currently heads a company called Tatsujin, which is the name of Truxton in Japan, and they own most of Toaplan's IPs. Yuge. Okay, Yuge. Masahiro Yuge owns Toaplan's IPs. So where shall we go next? Let's try and keep track of what we've played and what we haven't, because otherwise this is going to get very messy. Oh, I think we should go for... yes. That one. That one indeed. Now, this is not a system I play very often on stream. It is the BBC Micro. We had... I don't remember the file name. Hold on. Apparently we are loading the disk version. That's not what I wanted to do. Technical issues. Hold on. Hold on. This worked earlier. Maybe we have to do a start tape first. Or start cast, I don't remember. Is it start tape? That's better. It's automatically playing. So there are our keys. Speed up the loading. No nice loading noises here. Just some ticks and clicks. It's kind of creepy. Here we go. This is Hobgoblin 2 for the BBC, where we can go along and shoot things and die. Sadly, there is no music, and the colours are very basic. But that doesn't matter, does it? Yes, it is the BBC's colour scheme. It is not the most advanced colour scheme. Right, I did better when I tested this earlier. This is clearly wants to be Ghosts and Goblins, doesn't it? But, this is the sequel. The first game is much easier, much less complex controls. Now, what's in the pot? You can switch to the axe. Is the axe any good? I don't know. There you go, climb up the ladder. Ooh, fire. Let's fall down here. Oh. No, you got me. Performan by Data Eastern Toaplan is currently in copyright hell. I wonder why. That is an interesting game. We have played that one previously on the stream. Maybe it's due to Data East publishing it. But, yes, so we don't do much of the BBC Micro on stream, so I thought it would be nice, because this is a computer. I'm sure that was Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, who just killed me. This is a computer that we had in all our schools. Yes, these zombies are definitely Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. So we'll probably be facing Scooby-Doo soon. I don't like things that fly at me. Hey, Anna Apocalypse Zero. This is Stoats and Noblins. Were you there when Xifos played the prequel on the C64, which was a bit more colourful than this? I don't think the C64 got the sequel, though, which has a whole weapon selection system. Look, I can throw stars now. Also, welcome to the stream. It's good to see you. Ha, got you. No. Oh dear. Oh dear again. And I game overed again. This is Zoiks, indeed. So yes, this appears to be quite difficult. I mean, not as difficult as Ghosts and Goblins, because that is notoriously difficult, but maybe up there. It's just a shame. The colours are so basic, but the BBC Micro was not known for its fantastic colours. Yes, I think you have to shoot that before it gets you, otherwise you can't avoid it. Axe, axe, axe. And that helps to remember the keys. The BBC games tend to be a little bit rough. I mean, what was that, a poison apple? That was unkind. Let's see how far we can make it, though. You cannot turn around while you are jumping. So, if you press the wrong button, you die. Yes, we will have to look at a bit more of Ghosts and Goblins later. I have a treat for Ghosts and Goblins. One you may be familiar with from Xifos Amstreams. Ha, you got axed. There you go. Does that reach? Maybe. Yes, it does. Here we go. Oh, it's Pac-Man after he's been to the gym and grown some legs. Or maybe that was a mutant Scooby-Doo. I don't know. It's impossible to tell how many hits anything needs. Some of these need more than others, which is a problem. See, that one needs 2. But this one needs about 4. Oh my! Oh, this weapon does not have the range. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, and the different weapons obviously have different strengths. Now we can pick the axe, but the axe... Oh, why has this one got no range? I don't understand the weapon system here, and it is game over. Anyway, this was Hobgoblin 2 by David Parsons on the BBC. Yes, after this they made the ARM-based machines before ARM was a really popular thing. Data East refused to give Toaplan credit. That is a bit unkind of them. Why would they do that? So yes, we had a look at that, and we should probably look at we should look at the modern GX4000 port of Ghouls'n Goblins that was done a few years ago now. This was by Xifos, and it shows that the GX4000 could have had a very good port of Ghouls'n Goblins back in the day, had somebody done it. Look at this. As you see, it's nice and smooth, great looking graphics. And the music sounds pretty much as you want it to. Maybe I prefer the Spectrum music, but this is not bad at all. The GX4000 was an Amstrad CPC Plus model as a console, so it came with 2-button joypads rather than a keyboard, and it plugs into your television. Yes, it wasn't really good enough to compete with the systems like the Mega Drive that were coming onto the market, but it was the wrong product at the wrong time. But it's not a bad little system. It's got some good modern games for it, including this one, which again is not in the software lists, unfortunately, and probably should be. One of these days, maybe I should actually just submit these editions. It's originally released in '85. This version was released in 2018, I believe. The GX4000 used cartridges instead of discs or tapes, which was another issue with the public here, because that meant the games were more expensive and people did not want to pay over the odds for games that seemed a bit dated. The visible sprites on the left may be a MAME bug, yes, I do not know. There are definitely some issues with the CPC video handling in MAME in general. As that corrupt screen there before the level starts may also be a case of where the screen is meant to have been disabled. Our emulation is definitely not perfect. I do not know though, sometimes you have to make compromises when making these old games. I have my armor back, excellent. I can take a key for coming in. There we go. AtGames had some quite bad products, didn't they? Hopefully they have learned from them. But yes, I happen to own some of the plug-and-plays with the Mega Drive support, and the games ran at the wrong speed and with awful sound. It was not a pleasant experience. Oh dear. I went splash. The collision is sometimes not perfect here. Yeah, the Streets of Rage music and Sonic and Knuckles was another really bad one. The one I had was called the Reactor. It also included some regular plug-and-play games. This is tricky, as any port of Ghosts and Goblins should be. Oops. I still have some lives left though. No. Don't kill me like that. I think that has to be pixel perfect, as they say. Oops. Yes, the Plus machines, much like things like the Sam Coupe, really didn't offer enough. We should look at some Sam Coupe games on stream, but I cannot get past that section. MAME's emulation of the Sam Coupe tends to run everything too quickly, which is a problem for some games, which end up very fast. The real hardware was not so fast. Good evening, Roberto. Welcome to the stream, and happy Halloween to you too. We are continuing from last night, although there's no kill counter tonight, because my boss said we killed too many people. So I hope he's not watching now, and not counting these kills. So, right, let's go with something with spiders in it. We are firing up the Amiga 1200 once more. And Pinball Mania, which was sold by 21st Century but not developed by them. Leap of faith from higher above, maybe. Amstrad, yes. They made many mistakes. Ooh, look, it's provided free with the Amiga. Now this was a bit of a step down from Slam Tilt and Pinball Illusions, but as a result it seems to work better in MAME than either of those. In fact, these days Pinball Dream seems to have issues in MAME when I'm sure I played it before without them. Does MAME emulate the hardware sound effects by default? What are you talking about, Ingu? I believe F1 is Tarantula. Please insert disc 2. Yes, there are some samples to emulate disk loading noises. They might not be correct for every disk drive, but it does help you to know if the game is still loading correctly or has crashed, which is quite useful. Yes, Commodore made just as many mistakes as Amstrad, though. If you look at things like the C64 GS, or even on the Amiga, there were so many mistakes. The CD drive for the A500 that was released after the A500 was discontinued and didn't work with the newer models, for example. So, yes, a Spidersoft design and a table with a spider called Tarantula. I thought this was quite fitting. Sadly, as I say, it's not as good as the proper 21st century games, but it's still not terrible. I'm doing well. Yes, the Amiga has some fantastic sounds, considering the sound hardware is actually quite simple. It's just a DMA-driven DAC, I believe. Now, the controls feel a little laggy in this game, unfortunately, which is something I remember from back in the day about it, and why it annoyed me compared to the other games. The other games, the pinball flippers were immediate, and this one, yeah, they're not quite so responsive. I'll just go with that idea that if I hit the button harder, it will do it faster. But that's not really true. We played lots of pinball at Play Expo Blackpool, including the Stranger Things table, which was surprisingly enjoyable. Yes, you can see, I can see why people were disappointed with this one compared to the other pinball games. I remember not liking it much back in the day, and it just doesn't feel as fast or responsive or as full of features. Yeah, the ball physics are definitely not right. You can tell this is a Spidersoft game. The controls are laggy and the ball physics are off. It is a bit of a cash-in. I would have played Nightmare on Pinball Dreams, but there is video corruption in MAME. We'll give this another try though. Still has a great soundtrack though, doesn't it? Yes, and that's not MAME's emulation, that is just the game. I remember it from back in the day. Helps if I hit the right key though. Yes, maybe somebody could look at the game and fix it up a little bit. I'm sure it has potential. But even, especially getting that side flipper, you have such a short window to react. Maybe there's a PC version that's better, I don't know. Maybe it's just a bad port of the Amiga. I also cannot rule that out. No. Let's give it another go. Probably the last go on this one. I may fire up Pinball Dreams later, even with the glitchy graphics, because it's just so much of a better game. Yes, it is a shame, especially when the other pinball games were so good. I mean, you even had Obsessions Pinball that was much better than this one. There is a table in Obsessions Pinball with a skull, but I haven't tried playing that one in MAME. I also wanted to play Pinball of the Dead for the Game Boy Advance, but that doesn't work in MAME. It fails when you try and go into a table. Black screens you on start game. Maybe there are some ARM emulation bugs or some timing bugs. I don't know why it crashes. It is a shame. I think MAME could be doing a better job of the Game Boy Advance. Yes, the Amiga did suffer from bad ST ports and towards the end some rough PC ports too. Right, I think we've played enough of Tarantula. It does have a nice spooky tarantula though, and it's by Spidersoft, so it had to be played really. Hey Retro Productions, Ingu brought you here and linked it on Discord. Thank you Ingu. It just always helps when the community here share links to the stream and let other people know what's going on. So yes, that was Pinball Mania, the Tarantula table. Not the best pinball game, but certainly a spooky one, and perfect for a Halloween stream. Now, I want to revisit a game that we failed to play properly last time, for whatever reason. And that is CarnEvil. I'm also going to underclock the CPU slightly so that it doesn't slow down as much in MAME. So this is not always a safe thing to do, but I think it's safe here. The ball physics are a little off, yes. But thank you Retro Productions for subscribing. If you'd subscribed previously, you would have been part of the death counter yesterday. But your soul is probably saved until next year. So yes, I don't know what was wrong with this. I tried it off stream again, and I could reload just fine. So let's see how it plays now. But yes, it is a shame. This one, there we go. You see, and we can reload. I do like this one. I mean, it is a lot of pre-rendered backgrounds, much like things like Area 51, but the theming is perfect for a Halloweeny stream. So I do have a few performance issues with it. It's one of those where maybe in an older version of MAME it runs a little bit faster, which surprises me, because the Voodoo has been optimized over the years. Maybe in this case the slowdowns are from the more advanced MIPS emulation we have now. However, it is still very playable. This is playable on MAME, yes, Retro Productions. It's been playable for many, many years. I think it's been playable for probably 15 years. Yes, Area 51 was pre-rendered with the various videos mixed in though, so I guess they couldn't really just leave enemies lying around. It would cause problems. So yes, this is like a slightly funnier version of something like House of the Dead, and I actually prefer this. Yes, the low poly count does actually work for the creepy horror theme too. increase my clip, now I get more shots. I didn't get the health though. Keep your arms. It's like a very violent ghost train, isn't it? House of Dead does have very bad voice acting. Games that are badly produced work well in the horror genre. I mean, if you ever played Deadly Premonition, it is objectively awful, but also so funny as a result of all the terrible acting and terrible movement and terrible frame rate. Yes, light gun. I mean, we still see light gun games in the arcades. There are plenty of them, but most of them are just ticket games now rather than better experiences. I think maybe for home use, they started to get considered a little bit violent and unpopular with the parents. Plus, you know, the CRT light guns stopped working when we lost CRTs, and the movement tracking ones and the Wii techniques never felt quite right. I was on the panel where we were talking about the Sinden guns from Andy Sinden the other day, which is a possible future for light gun games. They did work rather well, with a white border around the screen for their own tracking. Fast gun. You quote House of the Dead 2 at least once a week. I don't think CarnEvil was at the expo, although it might have been. Maybe I missed it. But yes. Evil Marie. Go away, Evil Marie. I will shoot you in the chest. Oh dear. We are still dropping a few frames, unfortunately. I even tried decompressing the CHD and putting it on the solid state drive, and it didn't change a thing, so it does seem to just be down to the emulation, not how I've stored things here. Oh dear, she doesn't look as good anymore. Oh. This is obviously a bit easier if you have a second player also shooting her. Or the projectile she sends. You've mastered Goldman's inflection on when he says mankind near the end. It's a thinly disguised Chiller ripoff. It may well be. It may well be. Accuracy 48%. Yes, I am not the most accurate. But that was one of the 3 scenarios. We can briefly look at Freak Show. But we should probably move on to another game shortly. She decided to jump on the spike. Which, yes, the hardware for this is a Voodoo-based system. If you remember the old PC Voodoo graphics cards, that is what Atari and Midway were using at this time. But with a MIPS-based processor instead of an x86-based processor. Otherwise, the hardware is quite PC-like. These are definitely some freaks. Yes, that's because most of the background is pre-rendered, Anna. The actual 3D are the enemies, which as you can see are actually quite low polygon. It is quite clever. It streams most of the backgrounds from a hard drive and then overlays actual 3D graphics. Anyway, I think that is where we will end CarnEvil. I just wanted to go back to it because we failed to play it yesterday when I couldn't reload. Yes, there is a bug on MAME testers. I think maybe it's to do with the emulated hard drive speed, which may also be why it slows down a bit more these days. It's probably trying to load too much at once, faster than the game can process it. Man maggots. Apparently man maggots is not allowed by Google, but it is allowed by me. Man maggots is fine. I don't know why Google is being fussy about that one. So where shall we go next? Let's clean up my list a little bit here. Let's move that up there because we played it. Let's have a little look. I think we should go with... Yes. It's quite creepy, but important. Beat 'em up rugby fighting game from Home Data in 1988, which is objectively quite bad, but also I think the first game to use this art style. These digitized character sprites. It may also be the MIPS is too fast, yes. But yes, this has no real sprites. Everything is on a tile map. So that is why everything moves quite jerkily. But it is actually quite impressive in the visuals and the high colour backgrounds for a game from 1988. But the sprite movement, due to the lack of sprites, is less impressive, and the gameplay is not the best. There is a video on my channel where I play through the game, and it does keep adding new content and new backgrounds, and right until the end, but I doubt anybody saw it in the arcades, because they would have given up quite quickly, I think, because it gets very, very difficult. Yes, you have to try and knock their heads off. And when you have no energy, you're very likely to get your own head knocked off. I'm going to lose by timeout, aren't I? Yes. Time up. I'm guessing they used something like that. They would have captured the models in different poses and digitized them. There we go. Straight to her neck and her head falls off. Yes, it's very clay fighter like it. Home Data and the arcades mostly did Mahjong games and the absolutely terrible Battle Cry. This one, compared to Battle Cry, is actually very good. And this set was dumped in 2020. Oddly, I think it may be a location test because some elements seem unfinished For example, there are alternate title screens in the ROM with the lights displayed, but they are not used, and in fact the press start text gets hidden slightly behind the title screen in a very odd way, like it was rushed to market or for a test show release. The Japanese set is much more common, but this version does have translated text, so became the parent. I don't know how you don't know about this, Bob. I do have a full video on my channel of me suffering the whole game. Home data did NES Famicom Sky Destroyer. Sky Destroyer on the NES is actually very good. The arcade game's not bad either. So they did have some talented developers then. To be fair, I don't think this is a bad, bad game. Apparently I won. Sky Destroyer might have been co-developed with Illuma. We might have to have a look at something from Illuma in a bit. Yeah, I don't think many people saw this. It's reminds me of something like Yao Kung Fu, the Konami game, but obviously with digitized graphics. It is also mainly a single-player game where you always play as the same character versus a lot of different enemies. If you select two-player mode, you just take it in turns. But Baboon Kung Fu. Oh look, creepy candles. We will not continue though. I think we've played enough of this. Decapitated enough of these puppets. Fake mosaic effect. Baboons are savage. That's a good fun one, isn't it? A nice little distraction. Right, where shall we go next? Let's have a look at my lists. Let's see what there is to play. Oh, I think we should play Link's game about being on a spaceship full of aliens. This is an arcade port. I don't know if the screen size is correct over there. Oh, it looks okay. This is Xenophobe. Maybe I should make the screen a bit smaller actually. Hold on. As I said, this is an arcade port to the Atari Lynx. The arcade has a three-way split screen, which the Lynx version does not have. Which actually, if you're playing a single player, I think makes the Lynx version look a bit better. But you just go along and you blast the aliens that are infesting this spaceship. So it's got a little bit of a horror aspect, although it's not overly horror themed. You can collect things like lab devices, and you can point your gun in different directions. But it's kind of, got that whole alien thing going on. Yes, Retro Productions. I've spent about 20 years of my life doing MAME development, and I often talk about the things I have emulated over the years on these streams. I personally did not emulate the Atari Lynx, But it is a system that I can respect, because it's actually an incredibly good handheld with some very good games, very good ports. It just wasn't very popular. I did, when the previous game, Last Apostle, Puppetshow was added, I did fix a bug in the home data driver that was causing that to not render correctly. Oh, you are welcome. I enjoy doing these things, and I find it fun, and I just want to see all these games preserved for future generations, the good ones and the bad ones. And it's always good to hear from people who enjoy the work that's been done. Use elevator, joypad down. There we go. On the second floor. Trying to get rid of all these nasty aliens, all creepy ones. Ceiling. Oh, got me. They got me. Use knife. No, no. That takes your health down very quickly. Oh, don't need to kill that. Electro gun. Oh, that's throwing out bombs. Yes, I do like to watch retro streams. Is anything in particular you stream retro productions? Do you have any favourites of your own? Have you been doing anything for Halloween? I do like events like Halloween for streaming. I can give you an opportunity to play games you may otherwise not play. Such as this one. I don't even play the arcade version of Xenophobe very often. So, playing the Lynx version is something extra. You see the critters jump on you, and then you can throw them off. Apparently there's 33% infestation left. Come on, come here. No, you... No, oh dear. That... I turned into a big skeleton. No, don't. Get off me. Get off me. Yes, this is a very good port. I mean, it's not a game I'm a huge fan of either. But when I see a good port, I can appreciate it. And the Lynx did have many, many good ports. It probably deserves to be more well remembered. However, we all know the story of the Game Boy blowing everything away. Even when we had technically superior looking systems. Where are the rest of them? 14% alien infestation left. Are they on this level? Probably not, are they? Come on. Well, oh, you're down there, though. Come on. Chasing these aliens. They must be down here. On the lower level. Yes, there's one. But there's that one again. The health zapper. No, 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 no. Well, I died. That character is dead. You can pick a different character to continue. You wonder if a Lumen develops speed attack instead of setter. Magical speed and speed attack are similar. Yes, are they not based on a common idea? There's only 8% aliens left. I don't know if that was... Yes, that was one of them. Oh, the lift is not here. The lift is down. Come on. Bring the lift back. There we go. So yes, this is how the game plays anyway. It is a bit like one of those aliens on a spaceship survival things. In fact, that's exactly what it is, isn't it? It's alright. I don't mind it. Yes, I'm using OBS myself, Retro Productions. You stream a lot of different things. You stream Messen. That's It's one to stream. You did stream Xenophobe a week ago. Did you stream the arcade version, Retro Productions, which is the 3-screen one? That was the Atari Lynx version I was playing. Yes, I don't know if there are any other ports of the game, but Atari did port it to the Lynx, and I wanted to show it. And you do some Amiga, excellent. I do like a bit of Amiga. I don't do much Amiga because MAME's Amiga emulation is not great, although it hasn't been improved. It has been improved a little bit of late, but I stick to streaming from MAME, so I have to play them in MAME. If they're emulated well in MAME, then I'll play them. If they're not, I might play them anyway. But I try to play systems I know work fairly well in MAME. Right. Let's go back to horizontal. Let's go with a bloody game. Bloodstorm from Strata and Incredible Technologies. You have a Lynx at home with California Games. Yes, that was another one that's got a very good port from other systems to the handheld. There we go. The Emperor's dead. Now, this game, as the title implies, is known for being quite bloody. It is the sequel to Time Killers.
Bloodstorm.
And it is every bit as bad as Time Killers. But we're not playing it because it's a good game. We're playing it because it's nice and bloody. So, let's insert 2 coins into this greedy machine. Let's turn the volume down a little bit. Let's pick you. And play. Yes, the Game Gear is also underrated. Overrated. I'm glad the Master System is getting the respect it deserves these days. But the Game Gear is there too. Oh, look at that. That's one way to die. The Game Gear even has things like Puzzle Bobble that were not on other Sega systems. And it also displays better colours than the Master System, although obviously the resolution is lower. But yes, again, I think the main problem back in the day was the screen was a bit blurry and the battery life wasn't great, because it should have beaten Nintendo otherwise. Space Dork. Headless Space Dork. Yeah, I think because the Master System did not do well in America, it's forgotten for a while. Over here, it significantly outsold the NES. But in America, it really failed, and it has taken a while for the internet to catch up with just how well it did over here. Game Gear to Master System, I saw that. I'm not sure quite how that works, because the Master System cannot display the Game Gear's video mode with the extra colours. But maybe some compromises are made. The Master System is in South America, yes. Tectoy especially promoted it heavily there. But in North America, not so much. You dislike the Master System? Oh. Well, the only thing I dislike about the Master System is the limited number of buttons on the controller. You only have the 2 buttons on the D-pad. And then the pause button is on the machine, which is always annoying. Whereas the NES, you have your 2 buttons and you have your start and select, which works a lot better. The games you could make on the Game Gear were limited by the controller, I feel. And Sega did not really improve for the Mega Drive. The SNES again had more buttons, which means many games play better on the SNES, although the SNES resolution is often worse. You did not like the flickering. Yes, the flickering is a problem on a lot of these. The flickering is a big problem on the NES too, of course, but the sprite image is quite low on the game. The Master System, yes. Yes, Altered Beast is not a good game even in its original form. You may look at it in a bit, but it's a very limited game. So is everybody enjoying the blood going everywhere, which is basically the only thing you can enjoy about Bloodstorm. Incredible Technologies did not really make good games. They just ended up making Golden Tea, and they're still around today as a result. There are some very good new Master System games too. I played the one with the flying pigs on stream a few times. Flight of the Pigaris, I believe it was called. It does have some good movie games too. The Lion King port was very good, and the Alien 3 port is every bit as good as the Mega Drive version, really. The ROMs on the Game Gear were hacked. Is it an automatic hacking system that somehow intercepts the VDP writes and changes them? Or something else? No, this game does not have much going for it, nor did Time Killers. It just has blood and gore, and that's about it. But, you know, blood and gore on a Halloween stream is exactly what we want. But we will move on and have a look at something else. Ooh, shall we do... I've got to choose from my list. I think we're going to do... the one that maybe most people are familiar with. The one that was mentioned a few times last time. The one with an appearance from a cow. You like the grungy Mega Drive sound. In the right hands, the Mega Drive did have some excellent sound. Yes. It was fun back in the day when we had our Amigas. I did spend a lot of time playing things like The Settlers and Frontier Elite 2 and Sensible Soccer, more so than arcade-style games. But I did enjoy those two. I have to have a look, Aussie guy. So yes, Death Smiles, the Super Mega Black Label version. Now, sadly, Death Smiles 2 ran on PC-type hardware and doesn't run in MAME. But this one does. So let's pick this character. I always find this one works a little bit better if you change the keys. Now, we will choose level 999, because why not? That was a very silly thing to do, by the way. Yes, this is definitely Japan. Level 999 is generally a mistake, if you weren't aware of that. It makes the game quite difficult. Because you have these suicide bullets, so whenever you kill anything, you get loads of extra bullets heading your way. Which means you die quickly, as you are seeing now. I've already lost half my health. We may not make it to the cow. That was poor. Maybe we should quit the game and start on an easier difficulty level instead of this one. I think that might be wise. No, it's not compared to Chiraniki, which we should play on the stream. Yes, let's not play on level 999, because that is how I die more than anybody else. Let's play on a nice, sensible level 1. You have a quick question before you leave. Go ahead, Retro Productions. any game in the arcades that is not emulated that I look forward to. I think maybe the Namco System 10 games, that is PlayStation-based hardware. It had things like Mr. Driller 2 and Mr. Driller G and some other puzzle games. I do look forward to the day that one is emulated correctly. That's that hardware. So all the games on that hardware, really. There's a Mitchell shooter game, a bit like Cabal as well. Maybe that would top my list, because I do like Mitchell's games. I can't remember the title. I'm sure Aussie Guy knows the one I'm talking about. The IPS files for the Game Gear, are they? Ah, that makes sense. Interesting to see people convert things. But that is kind of what the retro scene often is these days. People looking at ways of improving things as well as enjoying what was there. The Namco System 10 board is sadly heavily protected. Even though I think the encryption has been cracked, the games still do not want to boot. Yes, Virtua Fighter sort of plays, but there are still problems with the collisions on certain moves, which means you can go through each other when you shouldn't. And Virtua Fighter 2 kind of runs, but is Model 2, so is a bit slow. Yes, the PC-based hardware tends to run in other emulators because it is not too realistic to emulate modern PC-based systems in MAME. MAME can do up to maybe a low-end original Pentium, and many of those were 64-bit PCs running at 3 or 4 gigahertz. It is a bit of a step up in terms of what MAME can support. It doesn't really emulate them, the other emulator, it sort of just simulates the additional components, which is how they get away with it. It's more virtualization than emulation. These enemies look like ghosts and goblins. I think they're just your typical spooky Halloween demons. And I should remember to use various things. I'm not playing this game properly, I'm just playing through the game. Because it's a nice spooky Halloween one, isn't it? And if the ogre does try to count all the deaths, I think they may give up at this point. Alright, take care, Retro Productions. I will hopefully see you again. Thank you for joining the stream, and thank you to Ingu for inviting you here. Next time I may not be putting on this silly voice, which leaves me with a very sore throat. Ghost rocks are very cool. Now there is another game from yesterday that I would like to revisit shortly too, where I played maybe a more difficult version than I wanted to play. We will play another version and see if it is any easier. That was on the Amiga. But that will be after we have played a bit more of this and at least defeated the cow. Because we can't play Death Smiles without defeating the cow. Any chance you can see a Kuma Joe special on the NES? It's got a fixed status bar in 0.237. We could do. I could have a look at that next, maybe. Unless it required a software list change, because I have not synced the software list. But it sounds like it's probably just a mapper fix. Now this is considered to be one of Cave's easier games, and in fact, it is one if I'm concentrating I can play quite well. But yes. An IRQ fix, yes. I will have a look at that. Maybe next, in fact, before the Amiga game. Yes, these will still run beautifully well in MAME. Just, they don't have the slowdowns emulated. But apart from that, they're very nice to play. And in Death Smiles, the slowdowns are not that important. It's just quite funny to think they run too well. This is slightly harder. I selected level 3 difficulty, not level 999. This always reminds me a bit of Pro Gear with the trains and the colour palette too, I think. You know what time it is? It's time for Mary. Come on, Mary. Look into the light. Don't throw cubes at me, Mary. That wasn't very nice. Take that bomb to the face. In fact, yes, holy cow. Whoa. Mary, you angry cow. Now your cubes are red. Now, I don't believe any cows died yesterday. Somehow. Mary wins. I failed. The power of the cow should not be underestimated. I cannot beat the cow. Not this time. Maybe next time. Yes, I think in general emulation allows that too, Thomas. Many of these re-releases would not be possible without the research that has been done. Even if they're not using our emulators directly, they often use the research contained within them. So I did say, for Bob, we'd have a look at this one. A Coop Juice special. This looks a little rough. By Konami. Even though I was starting to get Dragon Ball vibes from that intro. That's a big pipe from Mario. I've never played this before. Wow. Did anybody see that article where it was shown that Tiny Toons for the NES basically uses the Mario engine for all the physics and player movement? Konami were a little bit naughty there. Makes me wonder if any other games stole code. Devil Castle Special, I'm Kid Dracula. Is that what it translates to? Yes, I was expecting it to maybe be more like a proper Castlevania game, so I was quite surprised. But Bob says the status bar has been fixed. So, that was silly. And the status bar does indeed look very good. So you can thank Bob Loblord in the chat for this fix. This is the same company that made Racing Force. Yes, cow. Although this is slightly weaker hardware than Racing Force used. But that makes it easier. You silly knight, I can hit you from below. Also charge shot. Oh yes, charge shot. A very useful thing. Now, is this meant to be a game for kids, or just with a kid character? I do observe the line at the bottom, but I guess that is just how this is on the NES, because many NES games have glitches at the bottom of the screen. Oh yes, Santor, I see your comment now. And Bob's comment. Thank you. I'm not trying to ignore you. I am trying to play games and read the chat. I'm doing a bad job of both. No double jump. I have never played this before. Look, it's Sonic Metropolis Zone. Except slower. And you don't spin around on them. There's an official translation. Ah. Not released back in the day then, only on a recent collection. That does happen sometimes these days. I guess I stand on this. This pendulum. Or not. Maybe I just didn't do it correctly. I guess I can't fly here though. No, I'd have to jump on this. So is this generally considered to be a good game or a bad game? Okay, don't fall down. I thought it might lead to a secret area. I guess the secret area was probably hell. Game Boy version was the same. This is a great game, is it? See, I've never played this before. I was not a Nintendo kid, so most of the NES, SNES, and Game Boy passed me by. This platform looks like a trap. Yes, I thought it might be. I thought I could stand on the grey stuff. Back to the start. Well, I think we've played this one. You can see, as Bob says, the status bar is fixed. I may come back to this another time. But, yes, there we go. Now, here is one we did play yesterday, but we played Orc Attack: The Return. Today, I want to have a look at... Oh, I've still got the software list name as Orc Attack: The Return, but rest assured, this is the original version. I just didn't change the name in the list. Konami Code gives you a mocking message. The gears do look lovely, yes, Roberto. The music is a major key alteration of a well-known tune from the main series. I'm not overly familiar with the main series. So yes, this looks mostly the same, but it does not say the return on the title screen. Oh, it does say the return on the title screen. I appear to have maybe messed up, or the game is always called The Return. I am no longer sure. Hold on. What have I done? Let me just check this. Maybe it's always called The Return. Maybe it's called The Return because the previous game was on a different system. Yes, it should be loading the right games. I think it's always called The Return. So let's just play it again, because we didn't get very far yesterday. I want to see if I can do better today. But I think it is just always called The Return. But some of these Amiga sets are not great. This is obviously from the one Amiga based on the mouse pointer. I had it on a different PD disc. I don't remember the title being The Return. But maybe it always was. But yes, we did play this last time, but I wanted to play it again. And see if I can actually beat the first level this time.
Let's rock.
I do not like it when a first level in a game defeats me, you see. There you go. I don't know if there's a better strategy for killing those ones. Or if the enemy sequence is not fixed. Also, I don't know how you can get back to a routine of actually getting a rock before another one climbs up the wall. But this is how you end a level, and there we go. So yes, I think this set is a little bit easier for some reason. A good old Amiga game with lots of blood. But yes, I am happy now. Yesterday we did not complete the first level. Today we have. Which means we get the sweep it off the bridge bonus round. Be useful and sweep up this mess. Yes, reverse Atlantis from Konami. But here you go, you see. You have a slidey puzzle sweepy bonus game. Where you push things into the water. Within the time available to you. Obviously you cannot sweep them all off because there is a big block of them there. But there we go, I swept some off. The first level died this time rather than me. You are correct, Bob. There we go, we moved to the second castle. This is what I wanted to show you yesterday.
Let's rock.
It's got different windows. Come on. Have it on the head. Now, obviously, these ones take a little bit more to kill. Don't do that, because that happens. It is a very realistic castle defense simulation. Yes. But there we go. I scored 7,500. But that is it. You only get the one life, so it is ultra realistic. But yes, at least I believe this is actually a port from an earlier game on another system, an unofficial one. It was mentioned in the chat before. But there we go. I'm happier now. Now I'm going to play one that Xifos played on his Amstream the other night, on Friday night, and that is Fantomas 2.0. Now, originally Fantomas was a budget game, well, a Spanish game that was re-released on budget over here as Vampire by Codemasters. It is notoriously difficult. But a few years ago, this remake was done with much better graphics. So we will play this. It is a game where you go around exploring and getting keys. I picked up a key there. And then you take the keys to the locks, but you have to avoid all these enemies. Now you don't want to fall down there because that is a trap. So I use the key in the lock. Now, yes, the painting is not in the background, surprisingly. But you see, it's nice and creepy. We did not play this yesterday because the only thing that dies in this game is you. And I think you saw enough of me dying without playing a game where nothing apart from me can die. Oops. Fire burns. It's probably worth remembering that. I don't remember where we go because we don't have the key for that one yet. It must be somewhere else because there's nothing else in this screen. We went the wrong way, didn't we? Where were we meant to go? Where is the key? I believe it might be to the right. Sometimes it is not clear what is in the foreground and what is in the background, but yes, we can go to the right here. Now, I did have the original version of this, and I do remember it being ridiculously tough. This version is slightly more forgiving, but only slightly more forgiving. Oh dear. I got an arrow to the eye. One too many times. Now. Oh dear. I'll take some extra health or an extra life. All these arrows, all these switches in the... Oh, I lost another life. I'm trying to get up here, but I failed. Yes, there is some great music and generally great atmosphere in this one. It makes good use of the Amstrad CPC colour palette to present a very creepy looking castle. It is quite a simple platform game otherwise, but that doesn't mean it's a bad game. It offers a lot of challenge, an incredible amount of challenge in fact. Some might call it unfair. There we go, here is a key. All the way up here. Unfortunately, I've lost another life. Let's try and get all the way back without dying. I think this might be the key we needed. But, we must traverse this maze. That's a good start. That's not such a good start. Let's see if this is the right key, if we can get to where I think it's needed. I don't think you can go in those doors, but I could be wrong. There are only the 3 keys to play the game. There we go, that is now open. We can go this way. Oh, and immediately run into something unpleasant. Oh, and I died again, and that is game over. You see, it's quite a tough game, but a nice little platform game on the Amstrad CPC. Yes, it does have a slight Solomon's Key feel to the mood, doesn't it? Although you are not putting down any platforms in it. But it's an excellent remake, which makes it slightly easier than the original game, which was a 1986 dynamic game. Dynamic known for their extreme difficulty. The Skulls won. They did. I was killed in action. Now, shall we stick with platform games? Now, this one did get a CPC release too, but we're going to look at the NES version of it, which is not, to my knowledge, in the software list. It probably should be. This is Shaman by the Modron Twins from 2018. With some bad language. Check this one. You get the keys. And you get the pumpkins. You have to take the pumpkins over here. The skulls don't kill you. You have to jump on these things too. There we go. So there's plenty of these around. Every level has a number of these dancers that you have to jump on, and a number of pumpkins. Now, I believe this was actually coded in C. I don't think you can kill those ones. This game predicted Jack Black. This game is quite recent though. Now, you can only carry 1 pumpkin at a time. Oh dear. So they find things and bring them back here again. It is fast and smooth. The controls do have a bit of momentum, which you may not like. You're actually a friend of Chamer, the person behind the Chaman character. Ah, that's interesting to hear, Roberto. This is one of my the Modron Twins games I did enjoy the most. Both this and the CPC version are excellent. Good, solid platforming action. But there's a nice big map where you're trying to find all these pumpkins on each level. Now, I think maybe I prefer the AY music of the CPC version, but that is not to say this isn't good music too. No, unfortunately the Modron Twins do tend to throw in a bit of adult content in their game, be it nudity or cursing. I'm not sure why, it does limit their audience slightly. However, it is a solid game. I don't have a key for this door, do I? No. So you see, I cannot go through there yet. I need to find a key. But yes, I think this should probably be added to the software list. As far as I know, it works on real hardware. The key there. Oh, I got. I got again. Again, this didn't get played yesterday because I thought there was not enough death. Although there are these things to kill, and the counters are at the top of the screen. Yes, I'm looking forward to their new release too. I will always check out their games. They have some good ones. Oh. And for many of the games, if not all of the games, the source code is available so you can study the games and see how they work, and potentially learn to write your own. They have an engine you can use for that purpose. So they are also excellent contributors to the modern retro scene, not just in terms of the games, but in terms of helping you develop the games. Amusingly, many of the Mega Drive plug-and-play bootlegs include code from one of their Mega Drive releases, Quest for Money 2, including, I believe, the unused music from it. I'm not sure why the bootleggers decided to build their engine based around that, but they did. Yeah, so plenty of pumpkins there, but it is game over. Now that was the NES version of it, but as I said, it was released on multiple platforms, including the CPC. So we should have a quick look at the CPC version too, I feel. Game? Probably. Yes, some of these 8-bit games are good enough to go on Steam. They are very playable. That's a nice title screen, isn't it? 2019, this one. Left, right, jump. So it is the same game. A bit slower, obviously. With slightly different graphics. But you can tell it's the same game, and it's a very respectable port. He hosts a nice podcast. I'm not aware of that. I may have to have a look at that, Roberto. But yes, many of these games do paint these old systems, such as the CPC, in a good light. It's one of the things I do really like about seeing them. You can see these games, their beautiful, colourful graphics, and simple but enjoyable gameplay. Which is especially nice to see because the CPC was often overlooked back in the day. We will get onto some arcade games again shortly. I think I have been sidetracked. The CPC was treated badly back in the day, yes. It's also always good to see these things running in MAME. The ones that work. Hearing things like the AY Soundcore produce some beautiful music. Oh dear. Anyway, I don't think we need to play too much more of this. You get the idea. It is the same game with the same level designs, but different graphics on a different platform. And slightly slower, but it is every bit as enjoyable. So there we go. We should really go back to arcade games though, shouldn't we? Yes. We played this one recently. But we can play it again. Because it is still very Halloween-y. Crypt Keeper from Konami. We have been streaming for 2 hours and 11 minutes. That means there is about 50 minutes left, because I don't think this will be another 4-hour stream. We have no kill count to reach this time. Yes. Is Shema here? But is it your podcast? I see. You know this game. I see the connection now. It is the game in which you feature. Excellent. It's a very good game. Maybe one day there will be a sequel. I don't know. That would be nice to see. Perfect Halloween game anyway. I do enjoy Shaman on the NES and on the CPC. Welcome. So yes, Crypt Killer. Okay, Anna, take care. Good seeing you. Thank you for dropping by. Cheequel. That is a nice pun in you. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there will never be a sequel, but I think it's a game that deserves a sequel. And we talked about this one last time, mainly because of how ugly it is. But, it's still a good horror-themed light gun shooter that plays in MAME. It's got that B-movie cheesy feel to it, which, yes, technically it's a mess, but a very ugly game, but it is still enjoyable. And the soundtrack's not all that bad, is it? And I would say it's better than a Corpse Killer for the Sega CD. Let's just spray the bullets all over the screen, killing these slimy things. I'm surprised I didn't play this one yesterday. The Japanese name of Henry Explorers. Yes, I don't know. I think with a name like that it should have been sponsored by Henry Hoover's and been a sequel to Dumblepop. Vacuum cleaners, because Hoover is a brand. I have one down there. A green one.
Be careful.
You like this too, not just because you read the Driver Mess Drivers. Yes, it does have a certain charm. It is ugly, you cannot deny that. But it feels a little fairer than a lot of these shooters too. You can clearly see what you're meant to shoot. It is not overwhelming you, and it's giving you a chance. And it seems quite forgiving on the collision too. At least at the start. There are some parts that do feel a bit unfair. So we did feature this quite recently in a stream anyway, so we will not spend too long on it. But I thought it's a nice creepy game. Hey, we've got some mummies. We've not had many mummies today. Nice mummy there. Yes, maybe we should have looked more Toomey crypty games. Tutankhamun, yes. That was on my potential list for yesterday. We did not get around to it. I think I chose a different level yesterday, didn't I? Not yesterday, last time we played it even. More of you in there? Where'd you keep coming from? Oh Mummy, yes, I am considering playing Oh Mummy on either the Spectrum or the CPC, or maybe even the Mega Drive. Which Oh Mummy version should we play? Maybe we should play more than one. It was mentioned in Xifos Discord that the Spectrum version, which is the one I grew up with, actually has some differences in gameplay, which I could not remember until they were mentioned. Such as being able to enter the treasure rooms to hide from the mummies, although the Spectrum version has very simple graphics. Shoot things. Remember to shoot things and not try and read the chat. Yes, we played both the original and the sequel yesterday in Gu. The sequel does need quite a lot of work, especially on the video priorities. Otherwise it plays reasonably well. But the video priorities do hinder it at times. You cannot see the status bar for the continue text, for example. Hello Stephen, welcome again. You had the CPC, yes, I had the CPC and a Spectrum, but I had Oh Mummy on the Spectrum. I do really like the Mega Drive port. Maybe it could have been a bit more difficult. Let's have one more credit of this. Or 2 more credits, because it is... Or 2 more coins for 1 credit. Yes, we did have a look at Wolfling on the C64. I know you like your C64, don't you? Have you played Wolfling, Stephen? It is a relatively recent game. It's developed by Lazycow, which I'm assured is not a relation of our cow. Because our cow is not lazy. Oh, okay, so we will not continue on this because we have played this recently. So we will see what else we can look at. Oh Mummy was suggested. And Tutankhamun. Let's have a look at Oh Mummy. I think we'll start with the Spectrum version, but we may also look at the CPC version. Because it's quite a quick game to play. Yeah, just flash the screen on the no entry screen. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. That was a bit of Crypt Killer. So I did say we would have a look at Oh Mummy, so let's do that. Very simple, small game. The Roblox servers are still down. We may have a look at all 3 versions, Bob. You have to wait for the music to finish before you can press a button. I think, or not, I don't know. Sometimes it just doesn't respond. AZKO, no, we can do that. Skill 3, speed 5. Maybe this was unwise. So basically, it's a bit like Amiga. You surround things and they're cool. But here, this is the thing, as I mentioned in Xifos Discord, you can go in the treasure rooms on this to hide from the mummies. You cannot do that on the CPC version. Or even the Mega Drive version, as far as I know. But you have to find the key. And there we go, the sarcophagus. And then we get out of here. And this is all the game is. Except you get more mummies. And I did play a bit of the CPC version of this at Play Expo. They had it on one of the CPCs that was set up. You know, because it's a good, fun, classic game. Unfortunately, yes, if you collide with the mummy does vanish, but you also lose a life. But, nice, straightforward, simple game. One that many hours were spent on back in the day. Now, see, I can exit now because I have those two, but I just don't get as many points. But if you don't spawn the extra mummy, that does help you. Even though they just look like skull and crossbones here, they are mummies, rest assured. Got the key. I'm dying. There we go, get out of here. The Amador clones were not good on the C64. How many were there? The CPC version does look a lot nicer, so yes. That is game over on there. So we'll move on to the CPC version. Which I don't know if we're loading from tape or disc. We will see what MAME decides. I think it's decided we are loading from tape, so... Amsoft presents Omami 1984 Gem Software. So as you can see, visually this version is a lot nicer looking. One is the fastest. One is the hardest now. Yes, we'll have background music and we'll have sound effects. So I don't know what the keys are. But okay, it just seems to be the arrow keys. Oops, I've already hit the mummy. So yes, for some reason this is one of those games where the CPC port was not a direct Spectrum port, and that is probably for the better visually. Now, that thing there does grant you the ability to get hit once without losing a life. So you see, I can hit this mummy and I will not lose a life. But unlike the Spectrum version, because the sprites are bigger, you can't go into the treasure rooms. So there are trade-offs in the different versions. Oh my god, it's bad. I may have to look at them at some point then. You know I love bad games, Stephen. But yes, let's play a bit of Mummy. There we go, we get out of here. Now, I honestly don't know which version I prefer. I think I'm more nostalgic for the Spectrum version, but admittedly, there's more of a game here. And it actually looks the part. You can tell these are mummies chasing me around, not just skull and crossbones. Again, though, we didn't play this one yesterday because there really isn't enough death. The only death is when I collide with a mummy or a mummy collides with me. See, 1 free life. Get rid of the mummies while you can that way. Makes the next level easier. Oh, but I've unlocked another mummy. Pepper 2 is a fun one, and Mousetrap. Exidy did some very good early arcade games that are heavily underrated, really. They tend to just be overlooked, but yes, both Mousetrap and Pepper 2 are very good games. Oops. There we go. So I get an extra man and it loops around. But we will kill off the character now. Well, when I can. There are no mummies to kill me now. And then we will briefly look at the Mega Drive version 2, because it got a very nice Mega Drive remake. Oh, there we go. Hello, mummy. Skull and Crossbones is more of a piratey game. There we go. So, yes. So, yes, I did say briefly the Mega Drive version. This one is in the software list. Now, it has a classic version, which is basically the CPC version. And it has the modern version, 1985 alternative, which has lots of nice graphics. But we will not be paying attention to those. We were playing the game. It's got different game modes. But this is basically the same thing. There's the key. Now clearly this is based more closely on the CPC version. There we go. But it has quite a few nice features. There we go. I can escape now, can't I? It has like these water rooms where you cannot see your footprints, so you have to remember where you've gone. But that's fairly easy. You can see which ones have been surrounded and which ones haven't. And if you use a smart strategy, which I'm not doing, oh yes, that's as inverted my controls, just to be annoying. There we go. Now the AI is a little less move in random direction this time. They do sort of follow you. Clearly I need to surround this one. Oh no, and then I can get out. Here we go, you see a dark level. Just to add to the challenge. You can still see their eyes though. And you know the layout is just the same as any of the other layouts. Just have to not run into them. But yes, an excellent remake. It has to be said. Cannot complain about this one. It was also available on physical cartridge at the time, but I'm sure those sold out a long time ago now. Get out of here. Yes, it adds those. It doesn't have many twists, but the ones that are there are quite nice. See, we've got an extra enemy type here. We have the Whirlwind. And the music is a remake of the original tune. That's frozen me on the spot. Unfortunately, that is a bit mean, but a bit cheap. There we go. Get out of here. There we go. It's not the most challenging of games. And see, we have a slightly different level now. We have a big boss thing that we have to avoid. At least I think we avoid it. Yes, it got me. Okay, so we only have to avoid his attacks. I think I did something wrong. I can't remember how to do this level. Yeah, the enemy does not actually harm you unless it does its attack, though, so it's not too bad. Just don't do that. I see that's when you get caught out. I think that's... Well, you see, I got. I think you just have to complete it a certain number of times to kill the enemy. Yes, Wolfling is very good, Stephen. I did enjoy it. Very big map. And original game feels with a fresh coat of paint like the SNES Hyenkyo Alien. Yes. I've not played that one on the SNES. I'll have to have a look at it. Hyenkyo Alien, which was rethemed back in the day even as Digger by Sega, I believe. So, we've done a bit of Oh Mummy. Now we really should look at Ghouls and Ghosts, shouldn't we? Should we do the Mega Drive version? Because it's the one I'm kind of familiar with. Yes, let's do the Mega Drive version. Or the plug and play Mega Drive version. Let's load up the Radica Street Fighter 2 unit that has Ghouls and Ghosts on it. Let's also use some sensible controls. Ooh. Now, this was an excellent port to the Mega Drive, and one I had back in the day. Professional, please. What, Bob? Yes, this is actually a fairly good plug-and-play unit. It even had 2 6-button joypads, which none of the other ones with Street Fighter 2 have. I'm not quite sure why, apart from being a Capcom game, Ghouls and Ghosts was also on here, but as an extra game on a plug-and-play, you cannot complain about Ghouls and Ghosts. This is the Mega Drive version running on Mega Drive clone hardware. This is not the arcade version. It is basically identical to the Mega Drive ROM. Sound on the original unit was not quite right. MAME does not emulate all the differences in the plug-and-play hardware. The plug-and-play is a Mega Drive clone, yes. A decent Mega Drive clone, actually. Much better than many of the other ones. It's been a long time since I played this game. I'm out of practice. That was silly. Back to the start we go. Oh dear. Now, I could complete this game back in the day. I was clearly a better player back in the day, or just spent a lot longer playing it. One of those games with practice, you do get much better. And then it's not so difficult. I am now old man. Nakayuji. No, I don't want that. I think Sega reprogrammed this themselves, didn't they? And they did a fantastic job, it has to be said. No, it's not as difficult as Ghosts and Goblins. Ghosts and Goblins I've never been good at. I just want my armor back. The structure is quite similar. You know, you start a level, and then you get to a part in the level with enemies you can't really kill as easily. Sometimes you do that. Yes, I'm not a big fan of Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Super Ghouls and Ghosts does not let you fire up. Super Ghouls and Ghosts is more like a sequel to Ghosts and Goblins, with a double jump, whereas this makes it much easier to kill things because you can fire upwards. Which many of the levels, well, some of the levels are based around, and it really helps with the platforming sections too. It just feels awkward when you play Super Ghouls and Ghosts and you can't fire upwards. Go. I did put it on professional, so it is a bit trickier. Oh dear, I didn't want to lose that there. That's not good. No. Yes, the Super Ghouls and Ghosts frame rate isn't great either. But, yes. Okay, we'll continue again, but, I am out of practice on this game. It is one where you have to spend a lot of time with it. Yes. I loved this weather effect back in the day, though. It might be a very simple, flashy screen, but it looked like a proper storm. Oh dear, that was stupid. You have a soft spot for the Amiga port. Shall we have a look at another port of Ghosts and Goblins shortly? I think we should. Yeah, I'm not doing well on this. Yes, well, we had a look at this. It's a classic game. I should play more of it, but or maybe even the arcade, but I just want to move on for now, because otherwise you will see that level a lot. Let's have a look at the Capcom 3-in-1 Jack Specific. Now, this isn't a Mega Drive hardware plug and play. This is a Sun Plus hardware plug and play. These games were ported. Big Hell's Village. Is that the name of the stage or the game? So yes. So we select Ghosts and Goblins. Now this is a port from 2005. Easy. The original soundtrack is excellent, yes, but I mean, I don't know if I need to play a different version. The original soundtrack is so good. Now you will notice this has a wider visible area than the original, which I don't know if really comes in handy. You can see a bit more. You can see what's going to kill you before it kills you. The music, unfortunately, is not the best rendition. The original unit sounds quite horrible. But otherwise, I think they have done an excellent job of porting this to the Sun Plus hardware. Right, it's the Japanese title, is it, Aussie guy? But yes, this is classic Halloween. spooky games. You can't have a spooky game stream without this. This multiple times on different systems. Very popular game. Yes, this is a very good port, Aussie guy. HotGen did a good job. It's a shame some of the other HotGen ports are lost. There was meant to be a Tecmo one that was apparently coded and never released, and included things like Solomon's Key. I would have really liked to see the ROM for that, but so far nobody from HotGen has come forward to maybe offer it in some capacity, and since it was never released, I don't think there's any other chance of us seeing it unless somebody who worked on it happens to leak it out. I'm still not good at this. I think I need the higher platform, don't I? That was silly. It is a tough game. But yes, one of the best uses of the Sun Plus hardware, I feel, is this port. Oh, come on. I'm better at the game than this. That's a lie, but I like to think I'm better at the game than this. There we go. Goodbye to your ice castle. Now, I am playing this on easy, so there are not so many enemies. There would usually be more enemies here to kill me. This is where firing up would be very useful, but you cannot fire up in this version. Can't go this way, you see. That's better. Go there. This way. Too close. There is an unreleased port of Junior Pac-Man. Yes, there are definitely assets in the released games for Junior Pac-Man, but no code for it. So it was probably, again, cancelled and never shipped in a released unit. I'm quite surprised we got the Rally X on the game key, actually, because it looks like there must have been some change of heart regarding licensing on that, because every other unit got a new Rally X. For some reason the game key got a quite odd port of Rally X. And again, I don't think we're going to see those unless, you know, one of the developers leaks them out. Because they weren't really location tested like arcade games, or sent to magazines like, you know, console games. These things are annoying. All the way over there. This is better. Should we play the Micronix NES version? We probably should. Maybe when I die on this, which is only a matter of time. Yes. Yes, let's continue with our Ghosts and Goblins ports. So, the NES had a port of Ghosts and Goblins. Apparently this is terrible. We will see. Am I playing the wrong version? That music sounded too fast. Okay, is this the right version or am I playing the wrong version? That looked too fast. Is that just how it is? Let me just check. That was the Euro version. Huh. I figured it might be. Let's try the right version. This game is popular everywhere. Yeah, I ran the wrong set there. I do that sometimes. It's still quite fast. And the scrolling is a little rough. I've seen worse renditions of Ghosts and Goblins. I really shouldn't have picked up the flame torch though. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, we'll give this another go. And then we'll probably move on, because we played a lot of Ghosts and Goblins. But it is always interesting to compare the ports. I'm glad the plug and play unit is not just a reissue of this, like so many plug and play units were reissues of NES games. Very lazy way of doing things. It's definitely not a case like Contra where the NES version was better. Oh, now I'm a frog. Oh. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Anyway, that was the NES version of Ghosts and Goblins, which definitely not the best version of it. Maybe not the worst version of it, but I'm not sure. Right. I think it's interlude time, even though we're near the end of the stream. Because why not? I don't have the keyboard set up for this. This is the I can play piano, except I can't. GDR did try to reach out to no avail to the former Micronics developer. Monster Mayhem, you see, with Scooby-Doo.
Press the game. Songs.
Scooby-Doo theme.
Level 1. Check it out. Here's the first key to play.
I don't think these keys are on the keyboard. Oh, there they are. There we go, you see. I'm so good at this. This is level 1, the easy mode. It would help if MAME could actually make use of keyboards, but it can't. Scooby-Doo keyboard hero, indeed.
Wow, man, you've got talent.
You see?
Check out your score.
There we go. 91. The highest score is 91.
Check it out. Here's the first key to play.
I think we've seen enough of that. So. Ooh. Yes, I do think so. Is that the Teen Wolf on the Mystery Mobile? Maybe. Tag grub sticks for points. I know the spidery game. It's a dual stick one. So, Robotron-like controls. Thin sticks with vector monitor. I think I did bad. Yes, maybe my glow is a little too high on this, but I can live with that. Yes, I did mean to play this one yesterday, but it's one that I just forgot to play. This happens from time to time. Hence why there is a part 2 to the stream. But there's plenty of death here. Only these pesky little bugs. Don't invade my web. Maybe it's less surprising we didn't play I Can Play Piano Scooby-Doo yesterday though, because that was relatively death-free, apart from me killing the music. And that was probably worth at least 100 deaths. Lots of death here. Only small deaths because they're little bugs, but they still count. I got. This was sold as a kit for Gravitar, according to Aussie Guy. That's a shame that Gravitar didn't do well, because Gravitar is also a fun game. As were many of these games from the period when Atari made good games. You know, before Atari stopped making good games. Now the red lines do sort of stop you. At least going in some directions. Oh, that was the wrong place to stand. See, I can't go through the red line now. That was a wrong place to stay again. So there we go. I think that was enough death in Black Widow. A very quick but enjoyable game, but one worth playing. We have 5 minutes of stream time remaining. Let's go for... Well, we may extend this an extra half an hour, actually. It's not that late. It is only 10 o'clock. Let's think about that. Now, I'm not sure if this is really horror, but Legend of Mackay by Lazycow definitely has some horror elements. We've not played any Addams Family games. No, you are right. It is hard to believe this is powered by 268K processors. But it is. It looks quite primitive. And sounds quite primitive. This has a very Amiga shareware look to it. I have the green key. I can open green things. It is quite spooky. These guys, they throw their heads at you. Well, they throw a head at you. And then they run away. Not quite sure where they got that head. We go in a shop. And we can buy an axe. It's a little bit like Wonder Boy in Monsterland. Well, we don't want to go in the shop again though. But not as good looking. The axe comes back, yes. It's a boomerang axe. More demony things. Gargoyles, I guess. Maybe we should have played Gargoyles on the Mega Drive. Well, that was mean. I died. I died. Apparently I'm good at dying. The jump is incredibly floaty in this. She died. A spooky evening to you too. You are crawling into your coffin to go for a rest. That makes sense. It is about the time we should all be doing that. This was developed by NMK for Jellicoe. This doesn't have the hallmarks of an NMK game. I'm quite surprised by that. This seems quite rough around the edges. I would have expected RPG action on a Kadash level from NMK. But maybe they were going for some kind of gameplay above visuals here. And even above audio design. This always struck me as a very primitive game. But maybe I'm missing something with it. Let's go back to the shop. We can get some boots. Boots for strength. That's exactly what boots do. Strength. A green key is on. I can't go through this door. Maybe it means a green key is needed. Or something. I'm not sure. There's a door up there if we can get up there. That looks a little out of reach. Oh dear, I fell out the tree. So it is a bit more than just a go to the left platformer. You have some exploring to do. In fact, it's an arcade game. This is an odd fit. This does feel more like a game you'd expect to see on a home system. The collision on these trees is not always favourable. You can't climb them either. So yes, I'm always confused when I try and play this one and think, what were they going for? I got 50 gems from that. Maybe I can bounce on the enemies, although there are no enemies left. There is also a timer, so I have to work out what I'm doing at some point. Otherwise, this is going to be one of those where I die more than the enemies die, and we can't be having that. Though we probably will be having that. I don't like this axe, actually. I probably made a poor choice. Which is a bit slow to throw around. It didn't say it was a boomerang axe. And also the enemies respawn, which is incredibly annoying. top of the tree, it is advisable to sit down. Okay. On the very top? I don't know. I don't know where it wants me to sit down. No, I need a green key. Look, there's an invisible wall there, which means I can't jump onto that platform. Which is bad design. Where am I going? How do I get up there? How does any of this work? What is going on? I think we've played enough of that. I can't remember what I'm doing. Now, I did want to maybe play a bit of Intellivision's Night Stalker, but there might not be time for that. Decaf Attack has not been played yet either. That is a shame. Devilwood by Konami and the NES game Devilwood neither have been played. Undeadline on the Genesis has not been played either. There's plenty I wanted to play that has not been played. So I have to pick my next games carefully. And by that, I mean I'll probably pick a bad game. Because here we have Exterminator. A game with a dial, 2 buttons. Yes, let's try and play this. There was a pseudo-sequel for the NES Famicom, Wizards and Warriors, developed by Rare for Acclaim. I wasn't aware of that. Not picking Night Stalker then. I may pick Night Stalker actually, after this one. Don't even remember how to play this game. Stamp on things. Don't squeeze the bees, they hurt. Squeeze these ones though. Crush the cans. So this is kind of creepy if you don't like bugs. And who likes bugs, to be fair? Apart from game developers who insert them at every opportunity. But maybe that's just because they enjoy squashing them later. Now, there we go. We made a path. Shooting your finger in the game. That is what this is. A very odd concept. One that I remember being heavily advertised in the magazines at the time. Because of some of the ports. This was on the Amstrad CPC too. It has a dial as well as the regular controls. So you can aim your shooting. Oh, squish the spiders. It also kind of reminds me of Snacks and Jackson, which is also quite a creepy game, but not one we have played. So yes, you squeeze the enemies and their blood drops down onto the floor, or their ketchup. And you're trying to make lines, but you're not trying to squeeze the bees. I don't know. No, I squeeze the bee, or the wasp. I don't know who came up with the idea for this, but it's dear, yes. It's very much like Snacks and Jackson, I feel. The collisions are a little fussy at times. Oh, there we do. We weren't going to play an Addams Family game, or we were going to play an Addams Family game. I don't believe this is an Addams Family game. Pound the tanks before they shoot you. The toy tanks fire live ammo. That's always a good idea. They shot me. Too low to pound. Yes. I don't know if this is a good game. It's an interesting concept for a game. Yes, it's very Atari-like, isn't it? With an added touch of fancy presentation and digitised graphics that are slightly better than most of Atari's, actually. I don't know, I have a soft spot for this one. But it's not especially good. But I think the idea of all these creepy crawlies makes it suitable for this time of year. Now you would have thought maybe the hand would be the trackball control, but I don't know. Anyway, I think we've played enough of that. We were brave. Night Stalker, which I've never tried to play. In fact, we're going to brave a few games that I've never tried to play before the stream is out. Well, it's a good start. I made it out of there. I do not appear to have the capability to fire anything, even though I thought I picked up a gun. Oh yes, I have fire buttons here. That makes sense. I think the controls may be not perfectly mapped. There's a gun down there. Let's go and get the gun. In this creepy maze. Oh, I got shot. Missing the famous Atari. Yes, it is missing that Atari logo, which we know is on all fantastic Atari games. I have a feeling this may benefit from the proper controls. I'm assuming you'd have some sort of analog control. I don't know much about the Intellivision, to be fair. I never had one. Oh, I shot a bat. That's probably a good thing. I shot one of those. Apparently that just shoot up. Oh, thank you, Tim Cook, for subscribing. Yeah, my up and down are the wrong way around because the numpad is the opposite way to a PC numpad. This is where preparing in advance is usually a good idea. I got shot again. This is kind of creepy. No, wrong way. I made the same mistake. Yeah, fire is the numeric keypad, but it's inverted because the original keys don't map the same way as they do on a PC. The original keypad would have one at the top. A PC keypad has one at the bottom. You need to hide behind the corners to kill the robots. It's a bit like Berserk then, is it? Oh. I also need to remember which way I'm firing. They're very good at moving out the way of my shots. How many shots do I get? Oh, just that many. But there's another gun. Maybe if I redefine the keys it would help. That was a good shot. So, does the game develop? Are there more stages, or is this the entire game? Spiders and bats only stun me. So it's these robots that I have to be fearful of. Oh. another gun. The robots get harder as your score goes up. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Feels like a mix between Tutankhamun and Universal's Mrs. Dynamite. I'm finding this to be quite original. It's sort of a stealthy feel to it. Oh dear. Are these robots or are they skeletons? They look like skeletons to me. Invisible robots. Robots that take multiple hits. Oh, it does do a bit more than this then. The robots seem quite smart as well. I mean, relatively speaking. Oh. It definitely has a creepy feel to it, doesn't it? I'm glad I played this one in the end. Oh, I need that gun. I can hide in the bunker and spiderwebs block bullets. I see. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Not a bad little game. Get the gun, get the gun, get the gun, get the gun. Outrun the robot. Take a shot back. Oh, you moved out the way. Now, I think we will play a game on an Atari system before the stream is out. Oh dear. I think is that 3 lives I have left. I think we've seen enough of this one for now, but yes, I do like that one. That's fun. I can see why you would play that one for countless hours. Ooh. Yes, let's have a look at the Atari 7800 for maybe the final game, or maybe not the final game. And this is Midnight Mutants. Oh, maybe I should have waited till 5,000 points. I was impatient. I'm back. Vengeance is mine. Take that, Gramps. That was an intro. 1990. So it gives you some tips here. So apparently you can't kill anything yet. The potion restores health. Nice to see the witches burning. I can't shoot anything yet. I have no weapon. But, this is all creepy. Oh, I think I went the wrong way. This is not the way I went last time I played it. It tells you things at the top like he's telling a story too. My blood is still 84% pure. And in here, yes, there was a knife. That is handy. A weapon. So that means I can now do this. Actually attack things. Well, sort of. Now, the cross will protect you from bats. I don't know where the cross is though. Maybe I should explore the house a little bit more. I can only hold one of each potion. That's not the most useful piece of advice you gave me. Oh. No. Don't like it down here. Though it looks like there's a hole in the wall. Oh. Well, I lasted a long time. Let's try again. Let's have a walk around the grounds. Looks like money. Yes, it's a similar perspective, isn't it, Aussie guy? Yeah, okay, we don't need to talk to Grandpa. I'm just running away. That seems like a wise choice. Is this a legitimate choice? Can I just run away? Hello, light bulb head. Hello, headless head. Oh. Nowhere to go here. Unless I want to go for a swim. Which apparently I can't do. This was a bad idea. There's Pumpkinhead. And Lightbulb again. Honestly, I want my mutant TV. So I guess this is another one of those games where you explore and you find out where everything is. And you can't go that way yet. Have you been a good boy? No. You're gonna have to play this one, yes. I think this one is probably more interesting than I can demonstrate on stream. Just look like we have toilet rolls lining our garden though. Don't know how you get that heart. Maybe you don't. Yes, let's have a look around. See if there's anything over this way. Ooh. Perhaps you could pry it with something. This is probably not where I want to be if I value my life. No. Produced by Radioactive Software. Copyright 1990 Atari Corp. Guess what? You're dead. Hit reset to restart. Well, if I'm dead, I'm dead. But yes, that looks like a good game actually. It might be one we have to look at another time. But we have been streaming for 3 hours and 20 minutes now. It might be a good idea if I play one last game. That game being Super Pac-Man. Not Uncle Pooh. Uncle Pooh is too scary for the stream. Yes, it looks like an action-adventure mix. But yes, Pac-Man is of course your classic game with ghosts. And so why not play a bit of Super Pac-Man? Because I actually enjoy a bit of Super Pac-Man. I think it's a nice original take. It's something a bit different. You get to be Massive Pac-Man, aka Super Pac-Man. I remember Evie asking me at Play Expo what the difference between Pac-Man and Super Pac-Man was, because unfortunately their Super Pac-Man did not work. It may have been an emulation unit because it used a modern screen and looked like maybe you could see all the sort of LCD pixels. It was quite a strange display, but it had frozen. It did not play. So nobody got to play Super Pac-Man at Play Expo. Which is a shame. Don't want to go that way. That's a trap. But yes, this just adds more to your basic Pac-Man formula. It doesn't have you eating all the dots, it has you eating everything else. Including the ghosts. And of course you get to be this big Pac-Man. Who doesn't want to be a big, massive Pac-Man? And you still have your cutscenes, you see. There's some remixed music. One of the early Miss Pac-Man builds was called Super Pac-Man. I was not aware of that, Aussie guy. This is a shame we probably will never see those earlier builds. I also find it curious that this game was called sort of... was it Mr. Pac-Man on the Casio systems? I don't know where that title came from, or why Casio felt to rename it, or Namco felt to rename it. What does the star do? I can't remember. I can't eat the ghosts when they're that colour. Maybe I should just go for the big ones. Look at the stretch ghosts. The star gives you bonus points. I don't know. I don't remember all the gameplay. It's been a while. I like hamburgers though. That's a Pac-Man quote. Yes, Namco's official sequel, and it tends to get a little bit overlooked. And it's just as good a game, I think. It's just different. I much prefer this over the Pac and Pal. Or, you know, Pac-Man Plus, which was not a proper sequel at all. So I guess the star is connected to the bonus item. Probably if you match them like a fruit machine, you get a bigger bonus. That would be my guess, because you know how these Japanese developers love their fruit machine style mechanics. You know, matching of pictures. Oh. Yes, I wonder why. Yes, Power Pack on the M5. I think I did cover those in other videos, but I do wonder why they renamed it. Were they not happy with the Super Pac-Man name? Shall we quickly look at those ports? Very quickly look at those ports. You quite like Pac and Pal. I never got into it, Aussie guy. So yes. Oh, we need to change the screen mode, because this is not an arcade machine. So yes, that game, I think I've shown this before, on the Sword M5, as you guys mentioned, is Power Pack. Not like a PSU, but it is, as you can see, a nice little rendition of Super Pac-Man. Sounds good, plays good, looks good. Obviously, it's slightly reduced. Your Super Pac-Man is not quite as big, but it's about the best you can expect from the hardware it's on. Your favourites were Grobda. Grobda is an excellent game. A difficult game, but an excellent game. So yes, this is the Sword M5 version of Super Pac-Man, which is a Power Pack. And we will briefly look at the Casio version too before we end the stream. Because, you know, we need some ghosts. There you go, Power Pack. aka Super Pac-Man. Apparently programmed by Namco. And on the Casio, it was called something else. Was it the PV-1000? Hold on. I'm looking at the wrong system. There we go. PV-2000, not the PV-1000, sorry. You see, Casio Mr. Pac-Man by Namco. It's basically the same thing with a different title. So yes, I don't know why they did not settle on a name and release Super Pac-Man with these different names, but you can see it's the same game. And it's nice and spooky because it contains ghosts. Yes, it's nice and smooth, which is what you want in a Pac-Man game. Anyway, hello Ghosty. If only the 2600 Pac-Man games had been this good. Instead they were quite bad, so bad I did not want to look at those. There's a homebrew ColecoVision version based on these. Yes, the hardware is quite similar, isn't it? That doesn't surprise me. Anyway, there we go. With that, we shall close this, and we shall bring up the big video again, where I am sort of spookily in the background, with the lightning across my head. But thank you everybody for being on this stream once more. We have done another 3.5 hours of vaguely Halloween themed games. There are so many more we could have done too. We didn't even do Monster Slider, which was in my plans. Or Puzzle Loop 2. There are so many. Sinister is nice and creepy. Dr. Spark's Lab, the Atari game. Plenty more games I could have done but didn't. Always so many games for this time of year. But at the end of the day, you have to pick a couple of them to play every half an hour. And some just didn't make the cut. Darkseer would have been nice too. The Demons and Dragons prototype. Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters. Skeleton Crew. Porky Pig's Haunted Holiday for the SNES. The NES's Zombie Nation. Plenty of games I could have picked but didn't. Maybe if you do your own Halloween stream, or just want to play some spooky games this time of year, those are some suggestions. There are just so many. But happy Halloween everybody. Take care. Thank you all for being on these streams, yesterday and today. I hope you've enjoyed them, and I will see you next time.